All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our first meeting of EDT 315. I want to just start by thanking everybody for your flexibility in terms of being willing to get this class going 1 week earlier than Central's official academic calendar. I'm not sure exactly how it happened, but no matter how many times I went back and looked at the calendar and counted the weeks, somehow, at least in terms of Monday nights, this second 8 week session was only coming out to 6 weeks. So, so what I did was steal a week from the first 8 week session and get us started a week early, and hopefully that will allow everybody the time that they need to get through the material for the course without feeling rushed and so on. So again, just thank you for your flexibility. Tonight is really all about just having a moment for me to go over the course, to set the stage for how things are going to work over the next 7 or 8 weeks or so, what the course is about. Um, Obviously, you're all here, which also is awesome. Everybody's here on time. So you got my email, which means you've also made it into Blackboard and have had a chance, hopefully, to take a look at the introductory materials on Blackboard. Everything for the course will be posted through Blackboard. That is going to be our main location for everything that you need. And basically, what I will be doing is once a week, by Monday, although I usually do it over the weekend, I will be making available the next week's worth of work. Now, before I go too much further, I do want to just sort of clarify this class is more or less designed to be an asynchronous, move at your own pace course. I will be online most Monday evenings, but I'm mainly there sort of in lieu of office hours for anyone to stop by if you have questions or concerns or things that you would like to clarify with me. I will generally just sort of go over the new material on those Monday evenings, but those Monday evening meetings are optional. They're really just there if you need to drop by. I will record the overview for every week and post it in Blackboard, so you will never miss anything if you're not at a given Monday night. All the information will be posted on Blackboard for you. The only other meeting that will be all of us together will be the very last meeting of the class, which I believe is on May 1st. I think is the final Monday night. So we will have one final meeting then, just to kind of put a cap on the course and to put some closure on things and move on from there. So that's just a quick bit of an introduction. In terms of me, I did put an introduction to myself on Blackboard as well, if you had a chance to look at that. But my basic situation is I am a full-time high school music teacher. I teach in Regional School District number 10, which covers the towns of Burlington and Harwinton, Connecticut. If you don't know where those two towns are, basically go to Farmington and keep going west. And Burlington and Harwinton are the next two towns west as you head up into the Litchfield area of the state. I've been in that district. This is my 24th year in that district. I am also, my master's degree was in educational technology at Central. And for the past 5 or 6 years, I've also been teaching as adjunct faculty in that program, which is why I'm teaching this particular class through my role there. So I'm a performing musician. I'm a music teacher. I've also been involved in theater quite a bit in my life, along with some other sort of careers. For a while, I was sort of changing careers every 10 years or so, but here I am now. So for all of you that are, I know many of you are in some sort of teacher training program, or you are in process of getting teacher certification. I have been through all of that and know where you are, and hopefully through that experience and through what I've been doing for the past 24 years, can help make this course as useful and as meaningful as possible, as many of you are looking to either do your student teaching or get your certification in hand and so on. So welcome to the course. Before I go through the details of the class and everything, I did just want to take a quick moment to allow each of you to introduce yourselves quickly. Most of you put a post on the Blackboard forum, which is great, and it's nice to have that there as a resource to go back and sort of remind us of who all is in this class with us. But since we are all here together, just wanted to give everybody a chance to quickly go around. Just tell us your name, and we have a whole range of different majors and subject areas here. We have some graduate students, we have some undergraduate students. So maybe just a little bit about where you are in the program, and anything else you feel like sharing about yourself, feel welcome to throw that in as well. So I could, I guess, sort of call names out, but that feels always a little weird to me. So is there anybody that just wants to jump in and give us a quick introduction, and then we will just start sort of moving around the room from there?
I can start out.
All right, go ahead, Maddie.
Hi, I'm Maddie. I'm an Italian major with a emphasis in secondary education. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a junior here. I don't know what else. Um,
Sounds good to me. Welcome to the class, Maddie.
Thanks.
All right, thanks for kicking it off. Let's see, who's next? All right, Eric, I see a hand up there. Why don't you go ahead?
That work? All right. Hi. I'm Eric Lello. I'm a current technology teacher. I teach 3D animation and multimedia production and stop animation and game design. And I'm continuing my education, and I'm kind of looking forward to this course and see how I can directly apply it. I'm a father of three, and it's busy over here.
I hear you. Yes, I have a daughter as well who's a junior in high school this year, so know what that's like. And I hope everyone took note of the whole multimedia thing, because that's going to be a piece of a project in this course. So now we know who to go to for the inside scoop on everything. So, but welcome to the class, Eric.
Thank you.
All right, got the ball rolling here. Who's up next? Hannah, I see that hand up. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm a secondary ed Spanish major. And one fun fact about me is I have a cat. This is Alice.
All right. Hello, Alice. You may occasionally see a rabbit over here to my left or right, depending on your perspective. We are also a dog family, so you might occasionally hear a couple of dogs in the background. So, but welcome, Hannah. All right, next up. Yes, Fernando.
Hi, I'm Fernando, and I'm a physical education major with cross endorsement in health. I'm a junior in Central Connecticut. Fun fact about me is I have a dog who is a Maltese and is a 14-year-old, and I speak Portuguese and Spanish fluent.
Wow, we've got a lot of language talent in this class, it sounds like. So that'll be interesting. Maybe we can go multilingual. My only background in language was I took German in high school for a few years, and I've probably forgotten more German than I actually learned at this point. But welcome to the class. All right, let's see what languages or animals we have up next. Who wants to jump in here? All right, Jacqueline.
Hi, I go by Jackie.
Or Jackie,
I
yes.
am a physical education major. I'm a junior. A fun fact about me is I started off as a full-time dance major, absolutely hated it. One of the girls I actually danced with was like, "Oh, maybe you like PE," and I was like, it sounds like a lot of money to waste," and I actually ended up loving it. But so that's what I'm doing now.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the class, Jackie. Yeah, actually, most semesters of this class, it seems to be primarily PE majors, but this particular class seems to have more of a blend. But I've seemed to always get a lot of people from that department in this class. So, all right, let's keep it going here. Kelly, go ahead.
Hello, I'm Kelly, uh, senior in the PE program, and I'm looking forward to being in this class.
All right. Well, welcome, Kelly. All right. I think we're halfway there or so. Who wants to jump in next? All right. Start calling on people randomly. Anyone? Anyone? Go ahead, Kaya.
Hi, my name is Kaya. I am a junior and I'm a history secondary education major. And I got accepted into the professional program this past fall.
All right. Well, welcome to the class, Kaya.
Thank you.
All right. I think we've got about 5 more to go here. List is getting shorter. Don't be shy. All right, Vincent, jump in there.
I'm Vincent. I was an undergraduate major in history, and I'm in the post-baccalaureate social studies program. And I've actually been, you said you're in District 10?
Yes.
Yeah, I've actually been substituting there for like the past about a year and a half or so.
Oh, no kidding. Okay. You might have, I probably haven't subbed for me. I tend to not be out that much, but maybe have run into you around the building once or twice. So,
Yeah, possibly. Which building sorry, I forget which school you said you were in.
I'm at Lewis Mills. I'm up at the high school.
Yeah, I've been there a bunch of times. So
Okay.
probably have
Yeah,
past year.
I'm down in the music area, which is kind of its own little universe, and we don't get out of there very often. But
Yeah.
But all right, well, glad to have you in the class, Vincent. All right, I think we've got 4 more here. Who's going to jump in next? Felicia, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Felicia. I'm a history major in the secondary education program, and I've been in it for about a year now.
All right, well, welcome to the class. We see there are a bunch of history folks in the class this time around, too. All
I'll go
right.
next.
Oh, I heard a voice there. Brett, go ahead.
Hey, I'm Brett. I'll jump in on the history bandwagon. I'm also a secondary history ed major. Fun fact, I'm currently outside. I just got home.
Okay, we can see that. There's a little bit of light left in the sky there, thanks to
Yeah,
our...
a little bit. It's starting to get starry. So
Yeah, thanks to our daylight savings time. So
yeah.
All right, I think we're down to either Stephanie, Andrew, or Kevin. If either of the 3 of you, Stephanie, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Stephanie. I'm a Spanish education major. I'm from West Hartford, and I have a really clingy dog called Diana. And this is her.
Oh, wow. Hi, Diana. Awesome. Well, welcome to the class, Stephanie and Diana. All right, Andrew or Kevin, do either of you want to jump in here? Yeah, go ahead, Andrew. Oh, I think you're still muted, Andrew. Maybe not. Maybe.
He put something in the chat.
Oh, and I don't have the chat window open. That's my fault. Oh, okay. No, not a working microphone. And 3 cats. All right. So that I think that is the winner. Although I currently have 10 chickens, so I don't know if that really counts as pets. But in any case. All right. And Kevin, I don't know if you can chime in there, but I think that leaves us with you.
Hi, my name is Kevin. I'm a Spanish education major. fun fact about me is that I have 5 dogs back in Argentina, 2 German Shepherds and 3, I guess you can call them poodles.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
little poodles, canichitos.
All right. Well, the 5 dogs, I guess, beats out the 3 cats. So
Yeah.
maybe you're the winner here. Lots of animals represented in this class, it seems like, and a lot of languages. And so that's great. All right. Well, welcome everybody to the class. Like I said, this is an online class, which is why I like to grab these few moments that we do have where we are all together to at least put a little bit of a face to a name and sort of know who is going on this journey with us. As you can see, many of you are from the same department, so you probably know each other outside of this class, and that's good to know as well in case you're looking for people to bounce ideas off of or things like that. So I think it's good to kind of get an idea of who all is here with us. So what I'd like to do next is briefly do a bit of a rundown of the syllabus. I know you all know how to read, so it's not like I'm going to read the syllabus to you. But what I do want to do is at least hit some of the major points, and along the way, talk a little bit about sort of some of the major projects and so on for this class. So hopefully, I know this might be a little small on your screens, but I am sort of blown up as much as I can here without losing anything. So you all know how to get in touch with me. My email address is here in the syllabus, but you can also email me. My email address is in Blackboard as well and through the CCSU mail system. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me at any time, especially in an online class like this. I don't want you to feel like you're just sort of hanging out there and on your own to figure stuff out. If you ever have questions, do feel free to reach out to me. I do my best, and I'd say I'm about 97% successful. If you email me something on a day, I will have an answer back to you by the following day. If you don't hear back from me, don't hesitate to send a second follow-up email. Occasionally, I do overlook things, or things get pushed down in a mailbox, and I just don't see them. So it will not bother me if you reach out to me multiple times if you haven't heard back from me. But I will do my best to get back to you. And as I said, I will be almost all Monday nights. Occasionally I have something else on a Monday night, but on most Monday nights at 7:20, I will be here on WebEx, and you can always drop by at that time if you have anything you want to discuss with me in person or anything like that. So bottom line is just reach out to me whenever you feel the need with whatever questions you may have. This course, sort of what this course is designed to do, as its name implies, is it's about sort of expanding your toolboxes as teachers with a particular eye towards ways to integrate technology into lesson planning. Technology is not a solution for everything, and a lot of people are surprised to hear that from me, being an educational technology professor. But I feel like technology is just another set of tools, like pens and pencils and notebooks, and film strips and cassette tapes and everything else that's gone before. It's just another set of tools. So it's not there to solve problems, but it does give you a wider range of things to draw from to try to help your students achieve whatever it is that they need to achieve. So what we are going to be doing essentially in this course is taking a lesson plan template, and we're going to look a little closer at that in just a few minutes, but we're going to take the CCSU student teaching lesson planning template, and you will be developing a lesson plan. And along the way, as we kind of look at each step of that lesson plan, we'll be looking at ways that technology can be integrated into that lesson plan at the planning phase, at the delivery phase, at the instructional material phase, at the assessment phase, and just get a little bit of a window into some of the things that are available. So if you come out of this class just feeling like you've got a few more ideas or apps or tools available to you when you are thinking about doing lesson planning and teaching in the classroom, then that's really what this class is all about. So that's going to be our main focus of this class, is incorporating technology into things. So in terms of the main projects, it really just boils down to three main items. I mean, this is only an 8-week class, so it's got to be somewhat limited in terms of the projects. The lesson plan that I just mentioned is the main piece. So there is a lesson plan template. You will be filling that template in, incorporating technology into that lesson plan as you go. And at the end of the course, you will be submitting that lesson plan in its completed state with all the supporting technology included in it. As a sidebar to that, you're also going to be developing a website, a place where the materials for this lesson you're developing can be delivered to students. So we're going to sort of pretend that the lesson you are developing needs to be delivered to students asynchronously through an online platform of some kind. And not that it would be in real life, but again, this is a technology in, secondary education class. And obviously these online classroom systems have become pretty much universal now, just in the past 3 or 4 years, because of our experience through COVID and everything else, that now the expectation is, if a student is out of school for a while for whatever reason, that they can still participate in the class. So even if you're strictly teaching in the classroom, in many schools now, you all need to also have your materials sort of formatted so that a student could, catch up with a class if they have to be out for a series of days. So we're going to use Google Classroom. It's by far the most popular platform in schools right now. It is also free for anybody to use. All you need is a Google account, and you can run a Google Classroom site. You don't need anything else. So we're going to use that platform. And like I said, as you're developing your lesson plan, you will also be then sort of using the Google Classroom as the place where you're posting the actual materials that the students would use in the lesson that you're developing. And then beyond that, there's just, each week there's going to probably be smaller types of assignments that you do. Some of them will be discussion forums. There may be some small sort of production mini project kinds of things that you're doing. So all of those kind of smaller weekly activities will group together into the final part of the grade. But really the bulk of it is all focused on the lesson plan and on the Google Classroom site that is supporting that lesson plan in terms of that. I think a lot of the rest of this you can go over. Most of it is pretty boilerplate in terms of course syllabuses at Central. Attendance, I do just want to point out, it does say attendance is required for all synchronous classes. The only 2 synchronous classes for this course are this week and the final week. Everything else in between is optional. So if you can't be at one of those weeks or are not going to be at one of those weeks, you don't have to bother letting me know. It's all optional. I will just meet with whoever shows up on those evenings. Hopefully we are done with snow, but we did get a clarification just a couple weeks ago with the last storm, that even for an online class, if the university shuts down on a day, we're not even supposed to run a synchronous online class on those days. So if for some reason we do get shut down, I mean, the weather's been crazy the last few weeks, so you never know. That might be the only thing that would interrupt a Monday night meeting, but they're going to be optional anyway, so I would just turn it into a video for that week and post that. All right, so in terms of the structure of the class over these 7.5 weeks, the syllabus sort of has the overall plan. I do want to encourage everybody to always check in on Blackboard. If any changes have to be made along the way, Blackboard will always have the most current information. So each week in Blackboard, it will tell you what is due the following week and what the sequence of activities are for that week. So if something happens or I need to make an adjustment, just make sure you're following Blackboard in case this particular layout of lesson plans gets out of sync. So, but at least this will give you a rough idea. In terms of topics, the first couple of weeks we're going to be focusing on design, on lesson design and lesson planning, and also on sort of some basic design principles. Then we're going to spend a couple of weeks focusing on interactivity and using various technologies to get interactive elements into a classroom. Then we're going to look at multimedia for a couple of weeks as a way to bring together a bunch of different areas of technology and instructional materials. And then the final piece that we will be looking at is assessment and some ways to incorporate technology into assessment in a lesson plan. So that's the rough overview. And along the way, you know, each week you'll be building out those lesson plans by filling in more and more of what the lesson plan format has. And along the way, you will also be slowly building out those Google Classroom websites with the materials that you're developing along the way as well. So those two projects will sort of develop side by side with each other. And then, like I said, most weeks there will be some kind of a discussion forum for us to be involved with, or some other type of sort of weekly class activity. I will take a moment right here because here is where it talks about homework due. I did start off this evening by saying that this class is designed to be asynchronous. I am posting materials on a weekly basis, and they will always be framed in terms of here is the work for this week, and it is due in the following week. But you can take that with a grain of salt. These due dates are not hard and fast. If you need a week and 3 days to finish something up, then feel free to take a week and 3 days. However, I do want to caution, and this is coming out of direct observation of some experiences of students in this course in previous semesters, please don't put everything off until the end. That's just going to make your life difficult. It makes my life more difficult because then I can't go over and grade things until the last minute. Last semester, I literally had a student turn in an assignment 5 minutes after midnight on the day that Central closed off the grades being able to be entered for the class. So obviously I was not able to enter that grade because Central had already closed down the grading site. So don't be that person. I suggest the sequence as it is to help you stay on top of the work so that it doesn't pile up in the end. But again, the due dates are flexible, but as much as you can, do try to kind of stay in sync with the class just so that you know you're not creating a bunch of work for yourself at the very end of the semester. All right, the remainder of the syllabus, if you are not familiar with the ISTE standards, I would strongly suggest doing so. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a technology education teacher. A lot of school districts now, and I know this in my own, are now making the ISTE standards sort of required knowledge for all subject areas. They're kind of becoming an overset of standards that, in addition to your own content standards, they are expecting all teachers to know the ISTE standards and to be incorporating them into your lesson planning. In our curriculum documents in Region 10, there is a specific spot where we are supposed to put down what ISTE standards we are including in those lesson plans. So even though I'm a music teacher, the expectation is that I know these standards and are using them. So if you are unfamiliar with them, I just have a link to the ISTE website here. There is more information there than you would ever want to know about these standards, but it's good to at least get a sort of a top level understanding. There is a set of standards for teachers, and there is a separate set of standards for students. So as a teacher, you need to know what's expected of you, but you also need to know the student standards because that's what you're expected to be teaching or working with on your students. And then the final thing, I like to throw these in so you just know what's coming down the pike. But this is basically just the various rubrics that are going to be used for the various projects in the class. So that's the syllabus. Any questions at this point before I kind of talk more specifically about the first week? All right, I will take that silence as good news. So yeah, so the only other thing I wanted to do tonight was just since I have you all here, just to kind of give a brief overview of the work for this first week. I'm not going to teach this material tonight. That is part of the asynchronous part, but just to kind of walk through, and you'll also get a chance to kind of see how I organize our Blackboard weeks. So every week we'll start with an overview that is literally that. It's just going to show you what, kind of give you a picture of the week. So there will be some goals laid out for each week, sort of what you're focusing on that week. There will be a bit of an overview, just a narrative of kind of what the work is going to be about, what the focus is going to be about. And then I usually will have something that's the sort of sequence of activities, just a suggested order of what you should do and in what order. And I try to link out to where the material is. If I refer to something that's in our Blackboard site, I will also include the links here so you can easily get to each of those items as you're working your way through. And even though it's a bit redundant, I do then always finish up with just a summary of the work that is actually due in the following class. So for instance, for this first week, if you haven't yet, sign up for Remind and do that Introduce Yourself forum post. I think this group, I think you all have come the closest of any section of this class I've ever had to having everybody have those, having had everybody sign up for Remind and get those introductory posts made. So thank you for that. If you haven't done it yet, just as soon as you can. The Remind, I will generally only use once a week. I will usually over the weekend just send out a single Remind text, usually just saying this week's materials are now available. They're going to focus on this particular thing. If there's any updates I have to send out about a class meeting or anything like that, that'll come out through Remind. So do get signed up for that. And then it'll just go through, what are the actual things that you either need to do or submit over the course of the week's work. So this first week is divided up into 4 subtopics. The first one is just talking a little bit about instructional design. I don't know, since you all come from different programs and are at different points in those programs, I don't know what kind of an introduction you've had to actually designing instruction. There are a lot of different models of instructional design out there. No one single one is sort of the correct one. They all have their strengths and weaknesses. For the purposes of this course, we are going to use the UBD model, the Understanding by Design. It tends to be one of the more common ones in school districts. So a lot of school districts have adopted the UBD model specifically. So we're just going to use that one as we develop our lesson plan. So there's some information here about UBD if you're not sure what it is, a little video about it. There's a white paper that you can read that will give you more information than you ever wanted to know about it. So that's all about just kind of getting an introduction to a approach to instructional design, because that's what lesson planning is instructional design. Then we're going to dig a little deeper into the actual lesson plan project. And so this is going to talk a little bit about just how we're going to apply the UBD to lesson planning. And then this is that template that I was talking about for any of you that are going to eventually be involved in a student teaching experience. The document that you're going to be using for this class is the one that they use as part of the student teaching program. They gave me permission to use it, and I figured that's a good introduction for those of you that are eventually going to have to use it anyway. So you get a sense of what it looks like and how it works and all of that. So there's two versions of it. One of them is just a PDF. That one has a blank lesson form, but then it also has a page of explanations for each of the fields. So from Central's perspective, it gives you an idea of what they are expecting to see in the form. But that PDF is not a fillable PDF. It's just a straight PDF. So I've also included a Word document version of the lesson plan document. That's the one you're going to download and actually do your project in. That one's fillable. You can type into it and format it and do all that good stuff. And then in the end, that document is what you're going to upload as your final lesson plan. Just so you're not confused, when you download that, there will actually be 2 lesson plan blanks in there. The reason I did that is so that you can fill one in, but then still have a second one that's kind of a blank that's available for you to use down the road if you want to. So that's why when you open that, you will see 2. So just at some point this week, take a look at that, download the Word document version, take a look at that, make sure that you've got it, and so on. In terms of a specific technology focus for this week, one of them is going to be taking a look at social media in the classroom as sort of a first technology tool to examine. So this page is just going to walk through, there's some background on using social media in classrooms. The whole topic of social media in schools and classrooms is a huge one right now because on the one hand, it is a very powerful tool for connecting people and connecting ideas. On the other hand, it shows up in every presentation about internet safety and cyberbullying and everything else. So social media really has this kind of Jekyll and Hyde um, uh, uh, viewpoint in schools right now. So want to have you take a look at kind of both aspects of it, the good and the bad, because it's not all bad. There are definitely ways that you can use social media in the classroom that is powerful and useful and effective. But we just want to make sure that we're getting that out of it and hopefully leaving some of the negative aspects behind. And more specifically, I just picked one of the social media platforms out of the whole mess, which was Twitter. Although right now, Twitter is kind of, I don't want to say it's on the way out, but it's definitely sort of fading. Even a year or so ago, Twitter would have been sort of the #1 platform to look at, and it's starting to fade a bit. So, but we'll take a look at that as just a specific example of Twitter. And some articles about how you might incorporate it into a classroom setting and so on. So not saying you have to use social media in your lesson planning, but this is what I'm here to do, is just to get you thinking about a wider toolbox of things that could be available as you lesson plan. The first of our discussion forums then is going to link back to that social media issue and being the connected educator. So for these discussion forums, you're just going to create a new thread. When you create a thread, you will see the description of what I would like you to contribute in terms of your post for the forum. So you can take a look at this and kind of use it as a framework. You don't have to answer every single question that's on here, but use it more as a guideline for what you're going to post. And I like to stress that these are discussion forums. The whole point of them is to have conversations with each other. And especially since we are an asynchronous class, that's even more important. So I'm not going to put a number on it. I'm not going to say, well, you have to reply to 2 other students' posts. I would rather leave it more about quality than quantity. So just as you see other people posting, um, if you see something that sparks your interest or you've got a reply for it, then chime in. If you notice that people are replying back to your post and you want to continue the conversation with them, feel free to reply back. I just encourage these discussion forums to really be more about the conversations than simply, oh, I did my post and I responded to 2 other people, so my work is done here. So just kind of check back in regularly and see what's going on and see if there's a thread you'd like to jump in on. And then the final bit for this week, and I know this first week sounds like a lot, but in terms of actual homework, it really doesn't boil down to too much. So hopefully it's manageable. And this has to do with getting up and running with Google Classroom. So this page is all about how to set up your Google Classroom site. I would suggest, for ease of use, that you not use a school Google account if you have one to set up your Google Classroom. If you're already connected to a school that uses Google, you might already have a Google account through the school. But if you try to use that to set up your Google Classroom, it's going to automatically try to connect it to your school's setup, and you may not have the same access. So use a personal Google login. If you don't have one or you don't want to use one you have already, just set up a new one for this class and use it to set up your Google Classroom. So all that you have to do for this week is create your Google Classroom and then invite me to that site so that I will be able to view the classroom essentially, and see the work that you've posted there. So the instructions for how to do all of that is right here. And what'll happen is I'll get an email at my end that says so and so has invited you to their classroom, and I will accept that invitation, and then that'll give me the ability to see your work as you build out that Google Classroom site. The only thing to sort of add, if you want to, is to add in a page on that. They call it a material. That is an introduction to you. I mean, you already did an introduction for this course in the forum. For the Google Classroom, pretend that you are the teacher of the classroom and you just want to post a little blurb about who you are as the teacher. So whatever that means for you, it's going to look different for different age groups, but just post that page on there. But really the main thing is just get the site set up and get me invited to it so that I have the ability to see that work. So that is sort of the overview. Really what it boils down to, even though there are these 4 segments, the UBD work is just about reading some resources on UBD. So you don't have to do anything, you don't have to write anything, you don't have to submit anything. The lesson planning is mainly just about downloading that lesson plan template, taking a look at it, and just getting familiar with what it looks like and what the kinds of things are that you're going to need to fill in. You should start thinking about the topic that you're going to use for your lesson plan, because that is something we're going to need to come up with in the first couple of weeks here. So probably something in your subject area. You're just thinking about something that would be taught in a single class meeting. This is a single lesson plan, not a unit plan, not a semester plan, just a single lesson. So you'll need learning outcomes and everything else. So you can start thinking about that, but you don't have to fill anything in yet on that form. The social media, again, is just some reading, some looking at some videos and some websites, then creating your forum post. And then the Google Classroom is just set up the Google Classroom and invite me to it. So in terms of actually submitting things, it's really just a forum and the classroom setup. And that's really the main work for this week, beyond some reading and going over some background materials. All right, any questions about any of that? I feel like I've been talking a mile a minute for the past, what's it been, 45 minutes? So please feel free to ask anything at all. All right, well, I guess I will take that as a sign that it more or less all made sense. So before I let you go, just again, reach out to me at any time about any questions or concerns you may have. I will be back in 1 week at 7:20 on WebEx. You do not have to come in. It's really just there as an optional if you want to check in with me in person. I will do basically what I just did here, but for week 2's work. And we'll be off and running. And I'm sure these 7.5 weeks are going to go very quickly. And hopefully, like I said, you will get some stuff out of it that you can apply to your own classrooms and your own lesson planning. All right, well, if there's nothing else, I'm not going to keep you any longer. I will hang out here in the room until everyone's logged out. So if you want to hang out with a specific question, feel free to do so. If not, I will bid you, I guess I have to use some world language for this. I will bid you adieu. And let me know what questions come up as we go forward. And hope you enjoy the course. So have a great night. Enjoy your week. I will hang out here until everyone is headed out. Thank you.